Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. A couple quick things first before I last left y'all, man. The Saints did sign Lonnie Johnson, cornerback, through another defensive back being added to that room with Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, Alontae Taylor, Paulson Adebo, Marshawn Lattimore, and more. We're bringing in Lonnie Johnson on a veteran deal, like a $1 million deal or something like that. He's going to compete for maybe that fourth spot, kind of that nickel hybrid role, kind of what P.J. Williams has played in the past, with Tyrann Mathieu kind of plays, at times. So that's going to be good depth to that position. Injuries happen a lot in that position. In that cornerback room, you had Marshawn Lattimore, who missed basically the entire season. Alontae Taylor missed a lot of time. Paulson Adebo missed some time with an ankle injury. So having some depth, having another veteran guy. I won't even call him a veteran guy because, man, he got drafted in 2019. So it's been about 4 years in the league. Second round pick. Had a lot of talent. It's not panned out, as probably he would like in the NFL, but the Saints are going to give him a shot. Now we're going to move on to, I think the Saints have a steal. Now, don't get me wrong, this won't be like franchise changing or anything like that, but the Saints did sign Bryan, receiver. He played for the Raiders, then he ended up playing for the Falcons. Didn't really get to play, so good for him. No one wants to play for them anyway. He's about a 6'3", 215-pound receiver, so a big body target. Obviously, we got Rashid Shaheed, we got Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. Now you add a number 4 guy. He's already an upgrade over Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith, anybody else that was trying to play in those roles. He's going to be an upgrade over those guys. He was a third-round pick in 2020 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Played with Derek Carr, so they're going to have a little bit of chemistry. They only didn't play together for one season. His rookie season didn't really get to play that much. Only had 11 catches, 193 yards. But that sophomore season with the Raiders, he played a little more, started 12 games, ended with 60 targets. Still not crazy for a receiver, but did finish the season with 34 catches, 571 yards, averaged 16.8 yards to catch, 3 touchdowns. And the good thing about that, he did that being the fourth, receiving option, maybe even the fifth receiving option if you count Josh Jacobs out the backfield, because you got Hunter Renfrow that year. That's just looking at some of these stats. With 128 targets, he's finished with 103 catches, almost 1,100 yards. And you had Darren Waller, 93 targets, Josh Jacobs, 64 targets. Then you had Zay Jones, 70 targets. And then you had Bryan Edwards with 59 targets, finishing with 34 catches, 571 yards, and 3 touchdowns, like I said. Now, he did that as a number 4 option. He's going to probably come into the Saints offense as the number 4, number 5 guy. Obviously, we have weapons. Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas, now him, Kamara, Jawan Johnson. So he's not going to be the guy, but he's already shown in the NFL that he can produce. He can produce at that number 4 role, at that number 5 role. He's shown that already. He showed that his second year in the NFL. This will be his 4th year. He's only 24 years old. 24 years old, the sky is the limit, and the Saints have listened, man. It only took one offseason for Dennis Allen to do what Sean Payton would not do, and that is to just bring some new guys in this receiving room. Got Rashid Shaheed out of undrafted free agency, drafted Chris Olave. Now you have Bryan Edwards. The only guy we still have left is Michael Thomas, and of course you still have Michael Thomas left because he was the only guy that was worked damn near when Sean Payton was there, in the receiving room. And like I've been doing all offseason, like everyone's been doing all offseason, you've been giving credit to Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, the coaching staff, the front office, Gail Benson, whoever you want to give credit to, man. The Saints have identified needs: quarterback position, running back position, receiver position, defensive line, wherever you want to name it. And they've went out and they've went go get guys that they think can best fit those roles. And I'm excited for it. Like I said, they're gonna sink or they're gonna swim, but they're doing everything they want. As a fan, as a coaching staff, that's all you can ask for. We also made a couple more moves that probably went under the radar. We did sign another cornerback. This one, not gonna say it's going to be anything major. I think he's just going to be a practice squad guy, kind of guy trying to make the roster. And that's Isaac Yiadom. He's another cornerback in a deep cornerback room. So he'll be fighting for that 5th spot, 6th spot, maybe a guy that hangs around practice squad. If some injuries, arise, knock on wood that they don't, he'll probably, be on the roster, kind of know the playbook, have a familiarity, with the coaching staff and the players and stuff like that. So I don't think he'll, actually, help this team this season, but you never know, man, especially in the NFL with all the injuries that happen, like I said. But he's definitely not going to be in the first 4 options with the Saints because we're basically solidified in that room. Now, the big news kind of went under the radar, but was Andrus Peat, man. Andrus Peat restructured his contract with the Saints. I didn't really have those numbers, didn't see what those numbers were, talking about. But at least to my knowledge, y'all may know this already. Pete's salary was supposed to be around $18.5, I think $18.3 million to be exact. next season. Obviously, that was never going to happen. If he wanted to make almost $20 million for the Saints were going to cut him, eat some dead money, and he was just going to be a free agent. But they ended up working out a deal. I didn't get those terms for that deal until now. Now he's only going to make about $8.8 million. And for Andrus Peat, $8.8 million is, I won't say a steal, but that's a pretty good deal. When he's on the top of his game, he's really, really good. He's good in the run game. He just has some bad misses. But he's a solid offensive lineman, man. I've watched a lot of offensive line play in the NFL, and I know Andrus Peat is not a fan favorite, but he's really, really not that bad, especially at the number he's at right now at $8.8 million. But when Nick Underhill did tweet, which I was not aware of, this is going to be his last year for the Saints. Well, I won't say it's going to be his last year. This is his last year under contract for the Saints. And that's going to be big. A contract year for a lineman. Obviously, he's going to want to put his best foot forward to, secure another contract after this. And that's just good for the Saints. We're not going to be tied to him in any long-term situations if we don't want to. Now, looking at his deal right now, he's like I said, he's due $8.8 million this season. If he's but if the Saints don't re-sign him next season, it's going to be a $13.6 million dead cap. And that's honestly not the craziest. Obviously, we've seen huge numbers from the Saints already with the dead cap situation, and that's just part of the process with us. They added 4 void years. He's not going to be on the roster at the end of next season, so he'll definitely become a free agent. Maybe he'll re-sign with the Saints, to another deal, and that dead cap, disappears because he's on the roster. Or maybe they just walk away, cut ties with him. He'll be 31 years old. He's getting old as an offensive lineman. He's already had his up and downs with the Saints, so that's going to be a very big process. Once the summer comes with Andrus Peat, I think if I had to guess today, right now, he won't be a Saint after the 2023 season, but you never know. And that'll be it, man. The Saints obviously came out in free agency and made a big splash earlier with Derek Carr, restructured Michael Thomas to get him back, got Jamal Williams, Bryan Edwards now. So Lonnie Johnson's been re-signed, defensive line, all the things we've already talked about and already mentioned. So the Saints were making moves. It got a little quiet, but that Andrus Peat news dropped. At least to me, it dropped. Like I said, y'all probably knew that already. And also a couple more signings as well. But it's looking good for the Saints, man. It's looking good for the Saints. The draft is approaching us. Does Eli Apple have a job? I don't know. And fuck Nick Wright. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, this the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.